Hey, my name is Thomas Gilbert, and you guys are listening to the Amside podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Amside podcast, the show that talks about all things disc golf. From weekend rounds with your mates to the Pro Tour over in the States, we've got you covered all from an amateur perspective. My name's Rob, and I'm here with my co-host Dale. Dale, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about what they can expect from this week's show?
Yes, finally, we've had some disc golf coverage. So we had the Vintage Open this weekend, which was another spectacle and some really good chasing up there. But we've had our own competition as well, haven't we? We went to Croydon this weekend and played our first PDGA sanctioned event. So we're going to discuss that and obviously the highs and lows of that. And we've got a special guest, I believe, Mr Thomas Gilbert. So everything is going to be a packed show and looking forward to it.
Before we jump into that, just as always, I've got to give a shout out to the sponsor of the show. So Amside is sponsored by dischub.co.uk. And make sure you go check them out if you haven't. I know a few people in the UK scene are beginning to sort of discover what they're doing and ordering some stuff from them, which is great. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to a disc that I've just got. They're a stockist of Yeekan, a brand that's beginning to find its way into a few people's bags. And the Yeekan Hammer is something that I just put into my bag. It's a overstable putter, but it's got the sort of the flight plate of a mid-range. It's just really comfy in the hand. And I've kind of missed that really overstable putter slot. So it was quite an interesting one to put in my bag, and I'm having a bit of fun with it. So definitely go check out them and some of the strange and maybe alternative discs that they have in stock.
So, Croydon, Rob. First things first, that's a hard course.
It's an incredible hard course, and I think it's important to preface this bit of conversation with the fact that we played it blind. So it's not too far away from where we are, but we've never played it before. And as a blind course, it is a very difficult blind course because there's Mandos that you need to take into consideration, there's OB to take into consideration, and probably about half of the baskets are blind baskets. So you're going around corners, you're going around bends, you're making gaps that you can't see the baskets. So I know both of us had someone on our card that was quite well versed on the course, which helped, and obviously getting a few tips. But I mean, I think you had quite a good weekend out. I know I didn't shoot as well as I was hoping to. And I think a lot of that is course knowledge, and a lot of that is me also finding bushes pretty much every 5 meters. So yeah, it's a really difficult course.
Yeah, I had a target for myself. I wanted to shoot a plus 800 rated round. I'm confident that this weekend, once the ratings come out, that I will have that. So that's a good start. Although I think it now, looking into the PDGA rules and the PDGA rules, it now blocks me from entering into MA4. So I have to go into MA3 because it's 800 and above for MA3.
Yeah, I mean, I shot around 800, maybe slightly less by a couple of points. And I wanted to get above 800, but I'm sure within a couple of tournaments I'll start hitting that, and because I know that's something that I'm quite confident in my ability to be able to do that. Like I said, I just had quite a tricky day out this weekend. And yeah, I think MA3 is where we sit quite comfortably. I think MA4 definitely, when we were signing up to a lot of these tournaments that have now been postponed and postponed again, MA4 was probably the right choice. But now we've had a bit of off season, a few rounds. We're comfortable with what we're doing out in the course. I know that I'll be playing MA3 sort of going forward in the year. So yeah, look forward to seeing how I do in those in the rest of the comps.
Nice. I think it's a thing to say, Rob, that course was very forehand dominated. If you didn't have a very strong forehand or a very technical backhand turnover, that's where you'd be punished. There's some holes where you've got to commit to forehands. You need that 90, 85, 90 meter forehand or a very good turnover. And a lot of those shots were difficult. I chained out for a 92 meter forehand ace, and that would have been incredible. Still hunting for that ace, but I've hit chains now three or four times in the last month, 2 months, and it's coming. I know my ace is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a great round, but I did get one really nice sort of 40 meter sort of throw in, which kind of put a nice little smile on me for the rest of the day. So it's always nice if you haven't had the best of a day to get those sort of chain kisses or a few nice long putts or nice throw-ins to kind of, I don't know, just revamp your energy and know that you are capable of playing disc golf, which the score might not always reflect.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I shot a worse round in my second round than I did my first round. My first round, I was playing very conservative. I didn't know where I was going. Second round, I thought I had a bit more confidence, so I was making more mistakes because I was trying more things. I was throwing a forehand a little bit further out to the left to try and get it to sweep in, and it wasn't. Or I was trying to throw that turnover forehand or that sort of anti-flex forehand, and I didn't quite hit the line. But overall, I'm going to go back there. Hopefully, I think I was talking to the TD. There should be a 2-day event at the end of the year. 100% Croydon is a great track, and it's somewhere I'll definitely be looking to play again.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a great course and one that I want to give a rematch to. So I look forward to getting back over there when we can. But let's not talk about our tournaments anymore. Let's move on to the coverage that we had this weekend over in the States, over on the Pro Tour. It was a Silver Series event. We've now had a couple of these that we've discussed on the show, so we know that it's worth 25% of the tour points. The purses are slightly smaller, but still, they're incredible things to win. Boy, did we have a winner!
Yeah, your boy Calvin did it for you. After weeks and weeks of begging, he came through. So it was good to see. It put a smile on your face for sure. What a great place, the Vintage Open. What a course! Arkansas I didn't even know it was known for disc golf, but course is looking great.
It's a beautiful course. I think it was a great mix of touchy shots, but allowing sort of these guys to really open up on some of their drives as well. I know sort of big straight drives is what Calvin sort of specializes within, and definitely played to advantages there. But he wasn't comfortably winning all the way through. So let's go back to round one. Someone that we are seeing more and more of every single week, Gavin Rathbun. Now, he shot the hot round on day one. He got a 10 under, it was a great round if you look at the course. I know a few pros beat that in the days following. But just a great round and a fantastic ace. If you haven't checked out Gavin's ace, it was... I still don't know how it went in. I physically saw it go in, but it sort of turned up its side, went sideways into the basket, hitting off the basket. It was almost wizardry. It was something really, really amazing to see. So definitely go check that out. But second round, Heimberg came in, sort of showed his hand a little bit, really took that lead, and he held on to it pretty much until the last 18 on round three. Just with sort of James Conrad making him not too comfortable up there, just finishing just 2 points behind Calvin. But yeah, it was a great battle to have. But like I said, my boy has come away with the win, and I could not be happier.
I just think it's great this year to see players coming through that we haven't seen before and making splash on the scene. Gavin had, as I said, a great first round. You could see there was mistakes and he was getting frustrated in that third round. First hole, getting that double bogey, his approach shot was thrown into the ground. He then chained out, and then the second hole, the same thing. He throws a great drive and then chains out for the birdie, which would have cancelled it out. And you can see little mistakes and it was getting to him, and it's all about that mindset. But I'm sure that this year we're going to see. This isn't the last we're going to see of him. He's a great player. Looking forward.
Yeah, not at all. I think he's going to be up there in those lead cards moving forward, like you say, week on week. And quite frankly, it's great to see him up there. It's great to see a different name, someone that we can talk about slightly differently each week. But let's move over to the FBO. And boy, was it a one-name story. Straight into the winner, Sarah Hokum, winning clear by 8 points. So she shot an 8 under. Second place shooting even. So she was the only person that shot under on the weekend. And there was just no catching her. She just had an incredible sort of incredible round. Her hand was on fire. Her arm was on fire. But again, nice battle. The second to fourth place. You had Jessica Weiss, Missy Gannon up there. Just 3 points between second and fourth. And there was a little bit of movement around and a little bit of battling as well, which is what you want to see. On the lead card, you do want to see some kind of movement, some bit of competition, even though Sarah Hokum, at the end of the day, just was... She was too far ahead to reach, and she just kept it that way, which it was impressive to see.
Yeah, once again this year we're seeing first place so far ahead. and then it's the battles for second, third, and fourth. You know, we're seeing that time and again this year. Once someone gets ahead in the FPO, there's not usually someone, it might be one person looking to chase them. But again, Missy Gannon's up there. She was my pick for last week. Doing great. We've got a little bit of insider knowledge, but she's injured her hand somehow, but still managed to shoot a really, really good round. So, yeah, once again, looking good. That takes me on to our grit picks, because I don't know about you. Where did you place?
I placed in the sort of the high 3000s. Although one of my my number one pick last week, which was Vanessa van Dijken, she just sadly decided that she wasn't able to play this weekend. Which, you know what, these guys need time off, so which is absolutely fine. But I just I didn't change that pick. Maybe some hindsight meant that I should have, but it just meant that I sort of had that automatic sort of penalization on one of my picks not playing. But I think that wouldn't have mattered too much. A lot of my other picks again finished quite low on the cards compared to some of the guys that had great rounds.
She did tell you that she was pulling out, and then you had time to change it.
Oh, I know I did, but you know me, I'm forgetful, and I completely forgotten. By that time, it'd been locked in. But you know what? It's just a bit of fun. I mean, if I ever win the belt,
yeah,
that's a different story. But I've never even come close. So it's just a bit of fun, and it's something I enjoy doing every week.
Okay, well, it's not a bit of fun. I take it very seriously. I came 348th out of nearly 7,000 picks.
Is that your highest finish?
That's my highest finish so far. Yeah, I was in the top 100 at one point. But I had both winners. I had Heinberg and Sarah Hokum. And then, still people are up there, Kona Panis and Missy Gannon, but then Casey White and Chris Clements, you guys let me down. So I need you to redeem yourself, because I'm going to keep picking you because I think you're going to do it. But yeah, it was good. I mean, I had 51 points and the winner had 28, so I wasn't too far away.
Well, someone that didn't place too high, he was in the 40s, but still we're seeing do some incredible things over on the Pro Tour, is this week's guest, Thomas Gilbert. We're lucky enough to sit down with Thomas Gilbert. He was another massive arm in the sport. He's breaking distance records left, right, and centre. Well, not just distance records, but he's winning distance competitions left, right, and centre, I should say. He won Vegas last year. Since recording with him, he won Vegas again this year. So he's very much cemented his position as that big arm over in the Pro Tour. And I'm sure when we see some of these courses that really open up, we're going to see him just crushing in those top cards. So it's a pleasure to sit down with him. So let's jump over and hear what he has to say. So welcome to the podcast, Thomas Gilbert. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So it's great to have you. Just in case anyone doesn't know who you are, could you give us a quick summary of who you are and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm a disc golfer from the Great North, Canada. I've been playing disc golf for about 5 years now, professionally the past 3. This will be my 4th year. And then, yeah, I basically throw really far, putt pretty good, and kind of crush on tour.
Amazing. So let's jump straight into a question that we've spoke about a little bit on the show already. We had Ezra on a few weeks back, and the big topic around that conversation was moving from a mixed bag to a sponsor-specific bag. Mm-hmm. But you've obviously done a transition also with your bag, but you've gone from sponsor to sponsor. So can you talk us a little bit around the challenges that you found around that, if there are any?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the only challenges was like maybe finding certain runs of discs, because like I knew pretty well like what discs I would want to throw from Prodigy, even before I made the switch. So like I knew which discs like pros like Kevin, Seppo, Chris, they like to throw, and they're similar big arm players like myself. So I knew the discs I wanted, but then just getting the certain runs. I mean, like same as Zinaba, finding the good overstable Domi destroyers. It's the same kind of thing with like the D2s here at Prodigy. And so I mean that was pretty easy that way. And then but the cool thing was kind of figuring out the discs that I didn't have with Zinaba. So like the FX2 kind of being between like a Thunderbird and a Firebird, that's opened up like a whole new shot in my game. Same with like the A2, A3. Like those are approach discs that I've never had thrown before. And never really got to mess around with. So they also created kind of like a new shot in my bag, which is really cool.
Is there a disc that you've not been able to find yet? So you've had it in your old bag, and then you think that gap's still missing, maybe.
Yeah, I would say the trickiest thing is like the Sexton Firebird. I would say that's just the disc that is so unique. I mean, even I wouldn't even say you can find many Firebirds that fly like Sexton Firebirds. So that was definitely an interesting one, especially because I had two that were like seasoned perfectly to my arm speed. So like I had one that was beat up where I could snap it straight for like 350 feet, and then it would just like barely die out at the end. And so like that right now I'm using a H3 V2 because that's like a little more understable. I can snap it up to flat pretty easily, but then I'm using like the FX2 or the H1 V2 for like the more overstable forehand fairways.
How can you remember all of Prodigy's discs? Because I get confused.
I mean, I've done a ton of like digging and research in the last like 3 months because I knew that I'd need to get comfortable and like figure what runs are the best, figure out what plastic types are like feel the best in the hand. And so like, yeah, as soon as I figured out that I was switching, I like dove right in. I joined like 3 different Prodigy collector groups. Was like searching through to see what runs were like the hot runs, and then put up a bunch of messages on these groups and got like sent probably over like 100 discs from different people, just like giving me the good runs, the good discs to kind of like fit into my bag, and it's been really awesome.
Nice.
Absolutely. I think yeah, we had Nate on the show a few weeks back, and the Section
Yeah.
Firebird is definitely unique. But there
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned the fans, the support, especially from Prodigy collectors and fans
Yeah.
specifically. You've put a video out recently on your YouTube channel about how just amazing some of these fans are, and they've spent their money to support you in what you're doing and making sure that you're getting discs that are gonna win you these big tournaments.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing about the transition from Innova and Prodigy that I'm really interested in is, aside from the bags, obviously Innova, it's the old man of the game. It's been there forever,
Mm-hmm.
and Prodigy, I think, potentially has a slightly fresher feel about it. Is there that tonal change that came with the move?
Yeah, I would say that Prodigy definitely like runs things a little bit differently than Innova. They have like a slightly different mindset, just being a more like a newer company in the sport. And I mean as well, like they have gone through a transition in the last year or so. They actually switched CEOs, and so like the new CEO is like bringing in a whole bunch of new cool ideas as well. So I think that's going to be a really big and exciting thing for the Prodigy brand coming up in these this next year or two, which is going to be, I think, huge in the sport.
Absolutely. I mean, there's massive arms over on Prodigy now. I know Kevin Jones, yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Although you say you took advice with him from the discs, but maybe don't fall over on tee shots. I mean, it works for him, but
Yeah, that no, I mean, yeah, I'm a little less reliant on my footwork, I think, than Kevin. Kevin like really relies on like getting a lot of power from his feet and like really bracing his feet on his tee shots. Where like I have like a slightly quicker arm speed. Like I rotate faster than Kevin, but Kevin turns his hips and like uses that lower body, I think, more effectively than I do. And so that's why he has so much more kind of like footwork issues or like slipping issues on the tee pads than I might.
well, me and Dale have slipping issues as well, but that's more
Yeah,
the British weather, and when we fall over, it doesn't go anywhere near the basket. So it's
yeah,
an issue we all
yeah.
have.
So, one thing I'm interested in, because obviously you're self-proclaimed, you know you've got a big arm, you throw it far. So when you
Hmm.
first started, did you concentrate a lot on distance? Because a lot of people in the UK, they concentrate so much of, they want to throw 500 feet. They want to throw as far as they can.
Hmm.
What advice have you got for the UK disc golfers to really take their game to the next level and throw it as far as they can?
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's pretty important to kind of like learn how to throw far at the beginning because that's going to get you like a really powerful form. And I think once you have that power and like you unleash that potential, then you can kind of wean down on the accuracy and the timing of that throw to be more consistent. But I think if you have a really smooth throw that's a bit slower, it's going to be really hard to kind of transition up to powerful once you've learned that shot, like, and you're dedicated to that muscle memory. So I think going out to a field like a couple times a week, throwing your arm out like every other day is going to be more beneficial in the long run. Like learning power early and then kind of focusing on accuracy once you've got the power is going to be easier to kind of transition to than focusing on accuracy and then trying to add power. Because when you add power, it's just going to get more inaccurate.
Nice. I think you won Las Vegas, the distance challenge, didn't you, last year? With I think it was 663 feet, which is further than me and Rob can throw combined with our longest distance drivers. So you're pretty much smashing that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think with distance is really interesting as well. So both me and Dad are gradually getting that distance, and there's these different things that click and tick. So you film yourself and you realize you're opening up too early, or you're rounding yourself over too much. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
As soon as you make these tiny adjustments, you're getting an extra 20 feet here, 20 feet there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it really does count. Even the smallest adjustments can get you incredible distance.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Thomas, a topic that is reoccurring on the show is one that surrounds disc golf, which is losing discs. So obviously it's always nice when they go in the basket, but losing discs is, especially for us mere mortals, it happens a lot more than we'd like.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a example or a story that you can tell us about a time that you've lost a disc that was particularly special to you, or you're up at night thinking, oh, if only I threw that different or used a different disc on that shot?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few times. I mean, I got one of the funny kind of like disc losing horror stories that I had was at Ledgestone. I played around with Chandler Fry, Anthony Barella, and Adam Hemes, and in one practice round, our group lost a combined total of like 32 discs.
Wow.
And
that's
so like
that's a bag.
Was by far the most discs I've lost in a short period of time. I think I lost like 7. I think AB lost like 10. Chandler lost like 6, and Adam lost like
Jesus
4 or something like that. And like it was a super windy day out, and like going around that lake there, it was just uncontrollable. And also there's a little river that runs between a few holes, and it just happened to be one of the days where I think it had rained a couple days previous, so the river was like rushing. So any disc that went in the water was immediately swept away. And I actually remember I was really disappointed because I had just like a month back gotten a 2015 Sexton Firebird from Nate's personal collection, and that went into the river and was gone forever.
That we've had some horror stories on this podcast around losing discs, but I think that one pains me the most. 32 discs lost. Thomas, I've quite interested to find out when we speak to people that are on tour, what event do you most look forward to every year? You're like, that is the one event. If you could just play one event all year, it's that one.
I would probably say the Beaver State Fling. I think because it's 2 of like the greatest courses on this beautiful property out in Estacada, Oregon. Like the whole scene there is beautiful and amazing and fun. It's like since it's in this big park, the like touring players all get together and have a blast. It's an amazing 4-round event held on these like championship courses, and just the whole like vibe and feeling of the week is unlike any other tournament I really play. So I think I would say if I had to play one tournament for the rest of my life, it might be that tournament.
Okay, so moving on from a tournament, you can only play with 3 other disc golfers for the rest of the year. Who are you choosing?
Ooh,
just so that you know, you can't pick me or Rob because we understand that would be your choice.
It would probably be Nate Sexton, Calvin Heimberg, and then I'm having a hard time picking the third. it would have to be like probably Jeremy Coling. I think that's just like a super fun group, like serious disc golfers, but also can like completely goof off and have a good time as well. And like, yeah,
Nice.
they feel like they all have like a similar, or not even really similar, but like three different kind of games. Like we have Jerm and Nate who are like forehand specialists, and then Calvin just like can rip any line as far as he wants. And then like, yeah, I think the technicality and the skill level and just the personalities on that card make for a fun time.
Yeah, I could watch that. I think that sounds like a good football.
Calvin's come up
sure.
already before on the show. Obviously, I call him the king of no emotion. Surely it must be frustrating when he just throws the most perfect line you could imagine, and he turns around like someone's just punched him in the back of the head. I mean, that must be frustrating. But I know it's a running joke. But I mean, you know the guy better than anyone
Yeah.
than we do. Have you seen him smile? Because I'm still waiting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it. He probably smiles quite a bit more than he perceives. I mean, he's very serious in tournament, I would say. Like that's when he has his dead emotion, no smiling, no anger, no anything. It's just like literally nothing. And so but like if you watch a bunch of GK Pro skins matches, you see a lot more of his personality there. Like he'll trash talk, he'll have like this hilarious dry humor that he likes to do with all the players, and like he'll laugh and make fun of you, and like but in like the best way possible. Like you don't mind at all that he's like absolutely trashing your shots and just like throwing these insane shots, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's the line you want to take there. And just he's one of the funniest, most enjoyable players to play around with.
Nice. I like it. Awesome.
So one thing I want to ask, so obviously going off Dale's question about if you get to choose who you play with, we've started to see the cards for tournaments coming up.
Mm-hmm.
If you see yourself on a card with the people that, so if you see on your card with Eagle, Paul Macbeth, these guys, is there a sense of, okay, I'm going to struggle on that card, or is it a sense of, okay, I've got an opportunity to really push myself as hard as I can and show that I deserve to be up there with those guys?
Yeah. I mean, I played with those guys quite a bit now that I've toured a few years. Like I probably played half dozen so rounds with Macbeth and McMahon, and quite a few rounds with like Icky, Ricky, Germ, Calvin, like all those guys. So I think it's just a testament to like the level that I'm playing, and I think I take that as like a confidence booster. Like I'm up here, I'm playing really good. I'm going to play with these guys, and I'm going to consistently play with these guys throughout the rest of the event because like I proved I can do it. I know I can do it again. So it's like I take it almost as like a confidence booster, almost like a little bit of a competitive boost as well, to try to like play with these guys and keep up with these guys when playing on cards with them.
Nice. I like it.
Absolutely. I think you need to have the mentality of you need to play with the best to be the best. And I mean, you're showing end of last season, you were showing that you deserve to be there. And we're loving watching you play. So we look forward to this season and seeing you. I mean, throw some bombs and sink some of those parts as well. So
yeah, thank you.
There is one question I'm interested in, and it's just come to my head. And just so I can watch it for this year, is there one hole you do not look forward to across everything?
There is a hole. I remember I played it so bad. Like I think my average on the hole is like double bogey. I don't remember which hole it is. I'm pretty sure it's at Ledgestone. I mean, I don't know. There's a few holes that I average over par there, but I think
I think there's a few holes that many people do.
yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it's one of the par fours, and I just always either push it. I think it might be the baseball field hole. I know I've done I've done some crazy things on those courses in the past. Like I remember one round, I think I shot 7 under on the front nine, and the next round after that, I was 4 over on the same 9-hole stretch.
Wow.
And so it can be completely crazy, just like depending on how accurate that day. But I think the first run, like I chewed it, I birdied it, and I think I took a 7 the next day. So it was crazy because I was only going out of bounds by like 5 feet long of the basket, and but you have to go to this drop zone where I went out of bounds again, had to throw from like right where I went out of bounds, and then
Yeah.
pitched up and took I think a quadruple bogey, which was pretty bad.
Well, now you've said that, you'll go out and smash Ledgestone, so I'm looking forward to watching it.
Maybe
Yeah, me too.
Winthrop's hole 17. That just, I mean, I get scared watching that hole. It's not even a death putt; it's a death drive. So
Yeah.
that's the one that I would.
I'm actually not. I'm not that bad on that hole so far. I mean, my first year of playing it, I was 3 under through the 4 rounds. I went ace, birdie, birdie, bogey, and so I mean, I played that hole pretty good in the past. So I hope to just kind of like I think I'm still under par on that hole for all the times I've ever played it. So I hope to keep it that way.
I think mine would also be Winthrop, but I think it'd be hole, I think it's 6, the massive par. Is it 5 or 4 where you've got the big lake just before you get to the beach hole?
Oh yes, yeah, hole 5.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
that's the
physically,
intimidating hole.
the water scares me too much.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
I think we've got one more question. I think this could be a sort of maybe an inspirational answer. We hope it could be. So you say that you've been playing for 5 years. Could you walk us through the moment you took the plunge and decided to go on tour to dedicate yourself to playing disc golf? Because obviously it's paid off. Great things are we're seeing great things. I
Mm-hmm.
think touring professionals isn't really a thing yet over in the UK. We've just got a couple of players that have hit that 1,000 rating. But yeah, talk us through that feeling
Yeah.
of making that plunge and taking the jump.
Yeah, so it was an interesting story because, like, yeah, our scene up in Canada was probably similar to your guys' scene in UK right now, where we only had like 2,000 rated pros in the entire country, and so like I was playing on the pro field in I think it was 2017, and I was doing pretty well. Like I was getting top 3 almost every single weekend, like finishing first at a few events, and then I remember the best player in Canada at the time, Martin Hendel. He was like touring on and off in the States, and so I asked him at one of the events if I could ride down with him and his sister Sandy Hendel to I think it might have been Pro Worlds, and yeah, I went down with them in I think like the middle of 2017, and that was my first tournament, or maybe my second tournament in the States. But yeah, they brought me down there. I was like super excited, like antsy the entire way down. I had a really fun time. I mean, I didn't place very well. I think I got like 100th or something at Worlds, which I mean, it was still a lot of fun. I averaged I think like 20 points in my rating, but that just shows how competitive of a field it was at that point in time. But yeah, like that got me the kind of the taste of touring, and so after that I was like, oh my god, I have to do this. I finished up high school I think that summer, and then at the beginning of 2018 I played like Vegas through GBO, and then that was like my first time like full on touring down in the States, and that was just an amazing moment in like in my life. And that's where I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I have to do. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey ever since. Been playing a whole bunch of tournaments since then, and yeah, I hope to continue that in the future.
I think it turned out all right, didn't it?
Yeah, it's turned out pretty good.
Awesome, man.
Well, Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. Please shout out your social media where our listeners can go and find out more about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I'm probably the most active on my Instagram, so that's Thomas Gilbert 54. Every so often I hope to post on my YouTube channel, so that's Thomas Gilbert. Probably can find it through Thomas Gilbert Disc Golf, and then as well on Facebook, Thomas Gilbert. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Thank you to my sponsor, my new sponsor, Prodigy. They helped me out a lot on tour this year, so really appreciate them. And thank you to you guys for having me on.
No, it's been awesome, man. It's been great chatting, and we look forward to seeing how you get on this year.
Yeah,
Well,
me too.
Well, hopefully we can have you back on at the end of the season and we can talk about all the wins that you managed to pull off. So
Yeah, I hope so.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Lots of awesome things there from Thomas Gilbert. Like I said, we're sure he's going to be up there in those top cards in some of these competitions to come when he does get those nice open fairways that he can really open up on and show people just how far he can throw some plastic. So look forward to seeing him on live coverage coming up.
No, definitely. You know, he's just swatched bags, and it's going to be difficult. You know, he's learning that bag, and I'm definitely sure that he's going to be up there. But looking into next week, we've got Jonesborough. Very much looking forward to this one of my favourite tournaments of the year. And we have got a stacked field again.
Yeah, it's great to see. I mean, those Silver Series competitions, they're great to watch. Last day coverage, you know, it's still a little bit, it feels that disc golf need that we have. But these big events, the ones that we look forward to every year, these are the ones that they really get us going. And Jonesborough's no exception to that. So it's great to see some of these big players. And I think there's going to be some exciting play. I reckon there's going to be a lot of battling because Jonesborough is a course that people know really well. I mean, most of the card know that course. They know which lines they're going to take even before they arrive. So, yeah, I expect we're going to see some big scores in this weekend. And yeah, so Dale, normally I start my predictions. Why don't we flip it around? Who do you have this weekend?
Okay, so MPO, I have Portsmouth, because generally think, you know, he hasn't played. He's had a few competitions off now. He's ready. He's raring. I've been watching some of his YouTube videos. He's looking hot. FPO, I know Paige Pierce is back. I don't know. She hasn't really got off the mark this year. So unless she's gonna make a name for herself this week, I don't know. But I'm going to own Scoggins. I think she's a great player and definitely someone that's been up there this year, and I think she's going to take it down.
And someone that's definitely not shy of winning as well, which is so I think that's probably quite a safe pick. I'm sure she'll be up there, if not at the top. So I think that's yeah, some sensible picks there. I'm going to join you over on the MPO with Paul Macbeth, which some people might think I'm crazy because I've gone Calvin Heimberg pretty much every week. He won the competition. He won this event last year. So you might say, okay, surely he's hot right now. Surely this is the time to back him. But someone that knows this course very well is Paul Macbeth. I don't think he's been performing as well as he wants to perform this year. And one thing we know about him is that he uses that as fuel. And normally, when he gets angry, he starts getting the lines that he's asking for. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go Macbeth, and I think again, even if he's not on that top spot, second and third, he's going to be there. So I think fairly safe with that pick. FPO, I am going to go Paige Pierce. I think, again, she hasn't had the hottest start to the season, but I think this is one where she can come back and she can do some damage. We know she has the distance. We know she has the control, everything that you need to throw well at Jonesborough. So, yeah, I'm going to go for arguably the faces of disc golf currently, Paul and Paige. And yeah, that's what I'm locking it in. The final answer, Chris Tarrant. That's what's that's what's going on my slip.
Well, wish you luck, and I'm sure our picks will be out middle of the week, and then we'll see how we get on. I think it's currently now 4-2 to you, so you're still up, but we'll see how we get on this week.
Oh, you know what? I'm I'm enjoying being in the lead, but I think we're going to be swapping the top spot on our picks throughout the season. But before we go, I just wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of the show. This show wouldn't be possible without the support of the wonderful sponsors that we have on board. So a big shout out to dischub.co.uk again. And if you do order through them, make sure you use our code AMSIDE5. You'll get 5% off your order. So it's always nice to get a little bit off when you're ordering some new plastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check them out. And whilst you check them out, make sure you check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Amside Podcast. We post content on there all the time, from our own rounds to these podcasts going onto all your major platforms, as well as YouTube now. So get subscribing, get liking, get sharing. But guys, until next week, if I don't see you on the course, we'll see you on the Amside.